Do your thing.
What thing?
It's your lightsaber. Take it.
You keep it.
What?
I don't need it. The Force is my ally. That's all I need.
Well, What's up, everyone? It is Bismo here, back with the Bismo Gathering, I guess. We've got 3 guests on tonight, 3 very special guests. We've got Anthony, Pen Patrol Star Wars. We got Dan and Dustin, the brotherly combo from Stay on Target. What's up, everyone? How's it going?
So good.
Good.
Let's get it. Yeah, we've got a lot on the agenda tonight. I've got a ton of notes, as you can see, written out for tonight's show. I just picked up a notebook from school right there. No, this is all off the books right now. But the general plan, obviously, is we'll be talking Harry Potter, because that's what we're...
Of course.
That's what it is.
No, in all seriousness, though, we'll be talking Ahsoka. Obviously, we'll be talking about the most recent episode, the series as a whole, now that we've had all episodes but the finale. But the main juice for tonight is we're going to be speculating and predicting what we think is going to happen. How are we going to be left off? Whew.
So much. Where to even begin, I think, is the question. But so many predictions, so many things. We're good to stock spoilers too, right? Like I'm just nervous there for a second.
Anything that's happened. Obviously, I know, like, beyond episode 7 spoilers, but I don't know if there are any, to be honest. We'll say hi to the people in the chat, the early risers stopping by. What's up, Fury, Allen, Icy, Stormy, Shaggy, Hills, of course, Stay on Target. And I don't know if I said this, but in the links, or in the description, we got links to both Pen Patrol and Stay on Target, so make sure to go drop a subscribe there. They make great content of their own. Stay on Target has right now 2 weekly live streams a week with other various content. They got some funny shorts too. Pen Patrol Star Wars makes so many fun what if videos. He cranks them out like movies every other day.
Yeah, he is impressive.
Most impressive.
Moosh.
Thank you.
What's up? Coffee on Korriban. Pimp Daddy Bane. That name. Got to be Darth Bane, no? What's up, Zarimoto? Caleb D. Carla Hawkins. What's up, everyone? Well, I think how I want to start off. I mean, it's kind of up to you guys. You know, I keep saying technically I'm organizing this, but we'll say it's a democracy. No.
You're the emperor, and we are your lackeys.
It's the faux democracy that the emperor had for a while.
No, but what do you guys think, though? Should we just get a general rain check? We could say, I'm kind of thinking like a rating is either the last episode or just episodes 1 through 7 as a whole, or maybe both. Like, should we start with maybe episode 7 rating, and then just maybe right after just lead up, give all of our general ratings just to see about where we're all sitting. So people listening, whether it's the VOD or not, can kind of get just a brief introduction about how we feel as fans.
Right.
For sure.
But I'll lead us off. So episode 7, I gotta say, I mean, people know I've already tweeted out and said on the YouTube channel, Ahsoka is my favorite live action Star Wars show before it even ended and all that. But I will say episode 7 was a little bit of a step back for me. So if we're going out of 10 here, I would give it an 8 out of 10 for my episode for episode 7 review. We're just gonna go left to right, I guess, for this way. Anthony, you're up next. Episode 7.
I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. I love the show all the way around.
10. I can't be upset about that. All right, Dan, you're next.
For episode 7, I give it a 3 out of 5. I have absolutely loved. Well, we're going out of 10, so that makes it 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
But for that episode, but for the series as a whole, I'm way up there at like a 9.5 out of 10. Once we get the finale, I think it'll bump it over the 10 out of 10 mark for me, because I have absolutely loved this entire series and what Dave Filoni has delivered, and the people at Star Wars. I've thoroughly enjoyed every episode. This last one I still enjoyed, but it's just for me wasn't my top because there's been so many other great ones for me. Like I think 6 might have been my all-time favorite, and that was coming after 5, which was insane. I mean, it's like, so that's me.
Yeah. For me, I gave this. I was pretty harsh on this one, mostly just because it's the penultimate episode. I always get that wrong. I always say episode.
That's a hard word.
Episode. It is. No, I gave this one. I guess I'll say a 4 out of 10. There's moments in it that I find amazing. There's a lot, but as a whole, I'm riding the struggle bus on this one. Even as the whole show, I enjoy it. It's definitely on the like side. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the content. Faith and Filoni, and he knows how to deliver. At least he knows how to deliver previously established characters, and that's what I've been enjoying. I want the meat, I guess you could say. He's given us meat here and there, and it's more like it feels like in a vacuum. But at the end of this show, I want something big to happen, not just setting up something big to happen next. I want something in this show that I can sink my teeth into, which again, there are moments. It's just
what is your overall rating so far? What is your overall rating
of the entire show?
Yeah, episodes 1 through 7. What would you say?
Oh man, probably a 6 out of 10.
No.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to be this way. All right. I don't want to be. Don't do it. Don't. No, I don't want to be this way. I want to love every aspect. And for the most part, I'm really enjoying it. I just feel like we're just like 1 or 2 levels away from getting to amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I'm
liking it. Not a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry. But if this last episode blows me away, which I think it will,
right?
Okay, I'm
it will.
really looking forward to it. Then I will eat my words, and that score will go through the roof. Okay, so
That's
I'm
fair.
gonna leave it there.
Yeah, I will say, I'm definitely pretty high up in the ratings. Episodes 4 through 6 for me are all 10 out of 10. 4 through 6 is peak live action Star Wars in my opinion. Like 4, 5, 6, really, really, really good. But I've liked every episode. There are definitely things. I would say this episode, it's tough because I really like Ezra and I really like Emin Esfandi's portrayal. Love the guy, super happy for him. But it's tough. It's a little tough. It's like I hope we get a bit more from him. I hope he's a little bit stronger in the Force. Like he seemed a bit rusty per se. A bit rusty. I mean, but it was also kind of funny. They could have just done it to kind of keep in line with like more Rebels like.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing him get tossed by Shin, I was like, "Oh, you're doing my boy dirty."
I completely agree there. Yeah,
and that's saying something because I love Shin, so I want to see Shin wreck some people, but just not Ezra, man. At least not right at the beginning.
Right?
Like, come on, Ezra, what you doing? But he's distracted.
At least give an explanation for why he is the way, and hopefully it's a story point. Like I said, like even Maroc earlier in this show where I was crushed. My dreams were turned to dust.
Literally.
No, not really. But hopefully that's a story point moving forward. And I'm just missing that. I'm judging it on what we haven't seen yet. So I'm trying to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think I thought of a good question for all of us though, but we'll start around kind of in a circle, but we're going to go reverse this time. So we'll start with Dustin. What was your favorite part about episode 7? And then what was your least favorite part? It could be like a quote or just something that happened, but favorite and least favorite part of episode 7.
Oh man. Hu Yang was probably my favorite part of episode 7. He nailed the humor when it came to Star Wars for me. And David Tennant is just killing it. I mean, he's elevating anybody who's around him to like a way better acting quality, I feel like. And their connections there I just thought was amazing. And then right below that would have to be probably Thrawn. It was Hu Yang and Thrawn were my 2 favorite parts for this entire episode. But least favorite, how they did Ezra dirty. I just felt like, this is 11 years after we saw Ezra get away. Maybe again, part of it I said even yesterday was a lot of it was my own projections onto the character. What I wanted to see is probably what's disappointing me most. But it just felt like, dude, I had a high expectations. Maybe that's my problem. But I want to see him wreck shop. You know, I want to see like a powerful force user, and I want him to be not just the same kid he is or he was a long time ago. That's 11 years ago. I mean, look at how much we've changed in 11 years as people. I want to see that with him, at least to a certain degree. I don't mind the joking around. Like, I don't have a problem with that. It's just there's also a time to be serious, and even in the Rebels show, we saw him get serious, you know, and sometimes you got to just deal with things. And I think that would have been a great addition to the character, I guess you could say. But that was my least favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. We're just going to run the line. So, Dan?
Yeah, so my favorite part, I loved the Baylan Ahsoka duel. The way it looked and their dialogue there. Actually, even more so than that, I think was Ahsoka in this episode was my favorite that she has been, I think, almost throughout the entire series. Like, I feel like we're starting to get like Ahsoka the White, you know what I mean? Because she's changed now. She's a little more upbeat. That training montage was like that was huge for me at the beginning. Yeah. And her seeing Anakin's holograms, whatever, but that was so cool. And seeing her training, becoming, you know, she's getting back in shape now. She's got a little bit of optimism again. And her and Hu Yang were,
she was out of shape. Is that what you were saying for the beginning part of this?
No, I'm just saying she was, you know,
what?
She was down, right?
Yeah.
Motivated. Like when you're not feeling good, yeah, that's not the time you're gonna go like on a marathon.
She had a lot of baggage she was trying to get over.
So she's back at it now and get into like like peak Ahsoka, you know what I mean? And so that's why I feel she did so good against Baylan in that duel. I think my least favorite was probably the Ezra stuff too, because I was really, really excited about what Ezra was going to do. And same thing, projections, it's all my own build up in my head because he's one of my all-time favorite characters. And so I wanted to see him like step up and like really pull something out, you know, instead of kind of just driving the chariot.
Yeah,
but
I think rewatching Rebels for me, like right before this, definitely like, because it's so Ezra focused, and you know the show's name is Ahsoka, so like a little bit more bias for that. But
why they did it in that?
Yeah,
because it is Ahsoka's show. So,
but like now that Ezra's in here, he definitely has a big part. But we'll leave it to Anthony next to what favorite, and if you can find something you disliked, I guess.
I'm gonna actually counter what both of you said, because my favorite part of the episode was actually Ezra, the entire episode. Ezra's like my favorite character in all Star Wars, one of them, and so like for me, he felt like really in character. I mean, Amon just absolutely kills him, like does such a great job with him, and like to me, nothing felt more Ezra than him being like, my ally is a force, and then 2 minutes later being thrown into a wall. Like that's like Ezra Bridger to me. So like it felt very on par with him as a character. And I think for me, like I saw him being out there for however long he's been out there. Like he's probably not doing what he was doing when he was still fighting actively. So like you know, when he was controlling, I think it was an ATAP or whatever it was in the first episode of season 3, like he was full in on the dark side, going, you know, actively being out there. And he probably doesn't face anything more than the Marauders, since Thrawn hasn't, you know, gone anywhere near him for so long. So like him like kind of being a little sloppy kind of fit. And I think like you were saying, Justin, like it's building up towards what we'll probably see in the finale. Like I'm expecting him to kind of get back into the groove by then. But that was, I love Amon's portrayal of Ezra. I think it's just amazing. And my least favorite part was the fact that Chopper didn't jump across the stand and kill Xiono, because I don't like Senator Xiono. He is my least favorite person ever. That's not Pong Krell.
Pong Krell, yeah.
Now this is funny because I think I find myself kind of like a little bit more in between, to where like I'm gonna say a couple things a little different for my favorite and least favorite, I guess, parts of the episode. But as far as the Ezra stuff, I will say he did, and I think you guys may have saw me commented in your guys' chat the other day. He did feel pretty in character to me. Like the jokes kind of made sense. Like like I was saying, like I hope I don't lose my humor 10 years from now and all that. But well, that's assuming I have some right now. But
You just made me laugh.
You just made me laugh. Yeah.
what can I say? But it's definitely one of those things where because of the gap, and I think I forget if it was either with Dustin or Dan, I talked about how I personally think that Ezra is one of the strongest Jedi that there are, and so my expectations were a bit higher due to that. But it just I'm gonna play it off for now as he just seemed a bit rusty. He doesn't have this kind of like stressful of a fight right now. But I still do expect big things, and I think his character is going to be super important moving forward. Like, it may been the Ahsoka show because she's been the main focus for most of it, but I think whatever our next story is to continue this outside of the finale might be a little bit more Ezra focused, potentially as the main protagonist or one of the lead protagonists. Okay, as far as my favorites and least favorite thing. Well, I'm going to start with my least favorite because this one's easy, but it was 100% the dialogue between Sabine and Ezra on the thing when Sabine is questioned basically by Ezra. So like, yeah, am I able to go home and all that? And like, and she's like, and then like, so what? What's the circumstances? What's kind of going on? She's like, I don't want to talk about this right now, even though she kind of did that last episode. And like, I can get like she wants to have this moment between them. Last episode, like that was fine, like catch up and all that. But why I see it's a problem here is Sabine's being super selfish and inconsiderate. What about the turtle people? Like, she's not going to tell or warn Ezra that they're probably going to get chased down because she was basically released to go find him. She's not going to warn them so Ezra can help prepare like his new friends to be safe. Like she actively was putting both her and Ezra in danger, but also like his allies, which I feel like didn't feel very like Jedi like light side mind thinking. What do you guys think of that perspective?
And Sabine, in some ways, I mean, because Sabine in the Rebels was looking out for others. No, that's the whole crew. So.
It is a bit of a like stretch, but like she's got to think about that kind of stuff, right? Like the crossfires of her actions, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like she has kind of been consistently kind of looking out for number one.
Yeah.
And there's been some growth, but it's been hard for her to grow. You know what I'm saying? And it just that's why, the dialogue with her and Ezra kind of ticked me off because I gave it a pass in the last episode because it was the end and we wanted a moment. And then this one, I'm like, okay, now you got to unload. She filled him in on the history of the what's happened in the last 10 years, but what's happening now? Like, how are we getting home? Like, what are the steps we take? Like, we're just casually riding along. And then they just run into Balin and Shin, and they're like, I guess we got to do something now. But
to your point, though, saying growth with Sabine, what growth have we seen in Sabine this season?
I've seen growth.
From Ahsoka than we have Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Ahsoka's gone from Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the White, though. I mean, she's done a lot.
Yeah, no,
I will say Sabine, she keeps making the like wrong decisions per se, but Hu Yang kind of makes a point that like when she picks the star map to like help the enemies by giving him the star map, that maybe that was the Force's will, or maybe that was the correct choice. We haven't really seen things unfold per se yet. I do get where you're coming from though, because I'm thinking like season or like episodes 1, 2, Sabine, like she's still I mean, she feels the same, I guess, but I guess what necessarily needs to happen for her to become a Jedi or whatever?
I even wrote up myself, I guess, in this episode, we saw her tap into the Force a little bit more. So I would argue myself that there was growth there.
Confirmed Force sensitivity. I called it, everyone. No. I mean, who? Okay, sorry, but like, who didn't think? Come on, she was gotta be Force sensitive.
In the trailer, man. I mean,
it's in the trailer. But what you thinking?
I think her character, like, because like I think something that they kind of missed on was talking about how her family died and the purge of Mandalore, and that has to have had some kind of effect on her. And so, like, a way to interpret her not telling Ezra is like a coping mechanism of being like, I don't want to think about losing you because you're all I have aside from Ahsoka, who she thinks is dead at this point. So she literally thinks Ezra is all she has, and so she probably doesn't want to think about the coming fire, as it were, because that's just in a coping method, not as an actual smart idea, because it's definitely not smart, but it's like as a coping method, it's like, I don't want to think about that. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy it until the bad thing comes, and then I can be like, oh, the bad thing's right here. Let's deal with it together, like we did 10 years ago. So I see it more as like coping, I guess.
Yeah.
Better what they've given us in the show. I wish they would give us that in the show.
But I think, well,
good.
No, that does make that definitely does make sense. She's probably a bit more of like a broken person. I guess like we could infer that if knowing that her family was killed off and a lot of things happened. Rebels, Kanan death, a lot of traumatic things. I mean, she's been living in basically Ezra's home all this time. Obviously, there's a lot of demons in her mind from over a decade, basically, still having nightmares or thinking about Ezra coming back and all that. So a lot of things affecting her. I just feel like she's kind of already made some poor, but we don't know if those decisions, I guess, are technically poor in the Force, like giving the star map over. But I would like to see her start to like regain that confidence back with being surrounded by stronger characters, maybe being with Ezra being potentially helping out, but she's got to be thinking a bit about more her surroundings of how it affects the little guy, like the turtle people. No, I didn't even get to say my favorite thing yet. No, but it was tough to say because I think on it, even though I gave the episode 8 out of 10, I think on it there's a lot of really, I would say this is a fun episode overall. There was a lot of fun to it though. Definitely felt more like an animated show, kind of like what you guys are saying. But I think I actually did really like. I know, a cameo, whatever, but I actually really liked the C-3PO opening scene with Hera. Like, it hit really well for me in the moment, and just seeing Anthony Daniels,
that's right,
on screen in character. He's been in all the actual movies, I believe. Is crazy, but it hit really well. But there was a lot accomplished in that beginning scene, because people throughout this whole season, for example, have been debating like, when does this actually take place? Is this before Mando season 3, after, during? Basically, we just got confirmation from Carson Teva that this does happen indeed after Mandalorian season 3. There's good clarification there. And then the exciting part for me, just the authority that C-3PO comes bearing message of Leia Organa, Senator Leia Organa. It would be nice to see her, but I think that reveal would serve a bit better later on. The only reveal that matters to me is it sounds like she's the the leader of the Defense Force, right? So I think that's really teasing with. We'll probably be seeing Leia when we have the next war on our hands. I guess that's it. It's got. If there's one thing I think that's gonna have, this is prediction spoilers. I think Thrawn's getting out.
Yeah.
I think this
Absolutely.
Rebels isn't doing the best job of slowing him down. His chess piece is just where he wants him. We saw his board. He's like, all my people that I don't need are over here, and all the things that I need are right here. Tomorrow.
Right.
Before we get into, sorry, go for it.
No. I was just gonna say I did like the C-3PO cameo.
Yes.
In my opinion, I just thought Leia would have just had a little bit more impact, but I understand why they didn't, because they're probably saving it for the movie and higher budget stuff. So it's like two-edged sword for me. That weight and that character would have been really cool, but I understand
well, yeah, it's every time we use like these more established characters, it can dilute it, I guess you could argue per se. So not necessarily in a bad way, but obviously like Vader's screen time, he doesn't have a ton of screen time, but every time he's on the screen, it hits you because of just that impact that's there. But I was gonna, since we got around in this circle, I was gonna close up the poll because I asked chat what you guys thought of Ahsoka, just so far as a whole. 50% of people are saying in the 9 to 10 range just as a whole, and then the other big echelon is in the 7 to 8 at 38%. I guess that just changed right now, but nobody has said below 5 like as Ahsoka overall, so that's encouraging. For me, I'm definitely like for sure above 9 overall. Like my score is definitely over 9 overall, and half of the season's episodes are 10s for me. But I think I've kind of already said that. I've talked with other people outside, like some friends, but obviously I want the best for this finale. I want it to be the best thing ever, just like I want anything, but it could be serviceable, and I will not like Ahsoka is my favorite Star Wars show. It's already accomplished enough things that will, never be able to be taken away, that are so rewatchable in my opinion, and so good that for me personally, like the episode 4 through 6, I could watch 4 through 6 like a movie. Like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, at the end of this, I want to shout Dave Filoni's name from the rooftops, praising him. I really want to love this, and I really just hope that I can at the very last episode.
You will. You'll be able to.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what thing.
Yeah.
Faith in Filoni.
Bring me back. Maybe bring me back to the light.
We got to do it, man. We got to do it. No, they've so much. I agree with Bismo that they've just given us, and this is where I get confused because I feel like I'm watching a movie every week. Like luxury I live in to literally watch a Star Wars movie every episode, basically. So then like the one time where we don't get the full movie quality or something, then it feels like
it's like slightly off.
I'm like, well, this why would they do that in a movie? But it's a TV show. Historically speaking, TV shows were lower budget and you didn't get the big actors and the big moments, but we've gotten big moments.
And the CGI. I mean, the CGI has been amazing.
The CGI has
been perfect.
Perfect.
The score is like premium film quality, and I mean, from top.
That might be the best part, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So so I just get spoiled, but that's why for me, like I said, it's.
On the topic of music, I know Anthony and Dan, like you guys are both kind of musicians, both of y'all.
Nice.
Yeah. I see the guitar back there.
Nice.
He's a shredder.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I like the chords.
And
how about you?
What's your main? Do you have a main instrument, or do you produce?
A little bit on the side. I have a piano right here. That's my main thing. But how about you?
Piano's my main jam, but guitar's number 2, right behind all
the other instruments you play.
Well, I don't know.
You give him an instrument, he learn it in like a week or 2.
Well, when I was young, I ate it all up, like as the teenager, I just wanted to play all right now. And so, but fun. I just love, and then I love, you're a shredding drummer and singer.
Drums. Yeah. I play drums and sing. So, that's it.
That's cool, man. We're all in the musical fam.
Yep. Now, between all next week.
That's right.
Here first.
Exactly.
That is not a joke.
Oh my.
Bismo's got the lyrics though, right, Bismo?
Yeah, I'm kind of the songbird of our generation. Some would say, allegedly. I would put a beat on right now and show it to you guys, but I'm just not feeling it right now personally. But maybe if you're lucky, Chad, if you like the stream enough, if we get to 50 likes, make it kind of reasonable but somewhat unreasonable. If we get to 50 at the end of the stream, I'll drop some bars for you guys on the spot. But one thing I want to say before we get further, I just put a Q&A out because I want to hear what you guys have to say. Fill this out. It's the blue bar. I basically just asked, what do you guys think is going to happen? What are your predictions for just predictions as a whole for Ahsoka, the finale? If you have any questions for us, make sure to fill it out. But yeah, it's just in chat, the blue, it just will say Q&A, but all you need to do is just hit it'll just be basically a chat box you fill out. And then once you fill it out, then it will get sent off. That way we can look at that entirely. But yeah, fill that out in the meantime. We're going to keep discussing, but then we'll check that out towards the end of the stream if that's good with y'all. All right. Sweet. Well, where were we?
Predictions.
Wait, what was that?
Predictions?
Oh, predictions? Yeah. Is it prediction time? Okay. Well,
Throw one.
yeah. What's
for
up?
Ziono. Pent, do you think Ziono is an imperial agent?
Well, I know what he is, but that's because of Star Wars Resistance. He's in Star Wars Resistance.
Okay.
So I can tell you that if you want me to, or I can leave that for you to watch.
Yeah, sorry. No, I do know. I forgot.
Okay.
No, the only reason sorry.
No, thank you. I totally forgot about that. So you're right. Yep.
No, it's not a good deal. The only reason I know that is because I looked up after the episode aired to see if he died in the Hosnian Prime thing from The Force Awakens, because I was like, I need to know if he died, and he didn't. He was not at work that day, and I am livid.
I wonder
no.
why.
Yeah,
Wonder
he was
why.
tipped off, man.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was interesting.
He was just into them. I loved seeing Mothma though. You know, the and there.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but
Here we go.
Hey,
that's a cool.
Dan, you guys might need to turn up your gain just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I remember you mentioning Resistance. Have you actually started watching Resistance though, Anthony? I don't know if I can do it. I heard it doesn't hit as hard as the other animated shows.
I got like 5 or 6 episodes into it, but like that was like a month ago, so I need to like start over. So it's definitely like more childish than I'd say Rebels. It's definitely like the audience range is like much lower than the Rebels range, and I think there's only like 2 or 3 seasons, so like it kind of stays down like season 1 Clone Wars, season 1 Rebels. It kind of stays in that area, from what I've seen so far. But I'm interested in it for the extra lore kind of stuff. So I guess I still gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Pen. I think my wife and I watched like the first like 6 or 7 episodes, and then I just couldn't anymore.
It's more than me.
Yeah.
More than me. But you know, I really like, we're on the topic of predictions, just talking Ahsoka in general, but Thrawn, you know, finding out that Ahsoka's master, Anakin Skywalker, and from the books, the canon books, the second book, that's basically a full story with Anakin and Thrawn, and then Vader and Thrawn. That's a really good book. I highly would recommend that. It's like a dual story of they're on the same planet. One takes place during the present time. It's Vader and Thrawn as the Empire, and then simultaneously during the Clone Wars, it's Anakin and Thrawn on Batu with Padme and stuff. Batu, I think, is the planet. It could be wrong, but anyhow, Thrawn and Anakin have a past, and Thrawn, based off the books and just in general, he I believe he put together the pieces to know that Vader was Anakin as well. So I'm curious of how that might tie in his strategy. I mean, it already has. It already has tied into his strategy of Ahsoka's unpredictable. We'll just let her do her own thing and we'll stay safe here.
Yeah. He's still nervous though.
Yeah, I like that it brought him pause. Like, I mean, he actually had to think about that for more than 1 second.
Yep. Because she is unpredictable. Because she's Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah, that brings weight. Awesome.
Yeah, the same duo that put on spacesuits and put a walker on a Venator class Star Destroyer and marched on it. You know, can't really predict that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, it just reminds me, like episode 3, even like we get Ahsoka in space. I mean, come on.
Oh. That was like straight out of the Rebels playbook.
Yeah,
for sure.
it was, yeah.
And Clone Wars, I guess Clone Wars too. Yeah,
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
It is like live action Clone Wars and Rebels. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've been trying to see it more through that lens in some way. And in doing so, it's both a pro and a con for me, because like animation, you have such unlimited bounds of using the force, so you can show more of what the force can do. They're jumping like 30 feet up in the air, doing all these crazy things.
Yeah.
Whereas like live action, that's not reality. You can't. It's way more difficult to do that and to show that, and it's got more grounded nature to it. So maybe that's even part of it for me. I almost want to see more, even more, lean into it more.
Like make him jump 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, I want to
force
see, like,
jumps,
wow
force
me
runs.
with that,
Yeah.
But yeah. No, but sorry, I'm getting off topic here with.
I think that's valid, because I mean, you can draw this stuff versus visual effects a little bit more tricky, but yeah, I'd like to see more with just live action characters using the force in general in these shows. Like, I know there's only so much you can do, but I want to see some more crazy stuff. Even like I don't have the best overall opinion on the Kenobi show, I will say it, but the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan like hurling those rocks, like that was pretty good graphically and all that. Can we get a little bit more? Like that kind of stuff?
And I want to see Ezra.
It would make more sense for Ezra to have gained that ability.
I mean, he's not
time.
Vader, but I guess I think that he should have gotten that level.
Yeah.
But then again, Obi-Wan was sitting there in the desert for, was it 20 years? 15?
Yeah. 20. It was 18, I think, right?
So,
how old?
Did someone say, Anthony, you say 15, or how much is it?
Sorry, it was.
It was 19 full. It was 10 for Kenobi, so it was 10 years in Kenobi, and then it was 19 in the desert.
Okay.
Okay. Those just stuff.
He's
That's what
getting
really, everything.
He's
And
still
it's
Clockwork.
awesome.
he's literally analyzed every second of Star Wars. Broken it.
And he's just sitting there with different timelines that are splitting off too for the what if. Like,
he's got his whole universe. Like Peridia, he's like, come on, I've done 20 of these, Dave.
Oh god.
They did a worlds with Penn.
Wait 1 second, Dustin. You're cutting out just a little bit. Maybe.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I just want to hear what you're saying. It's so good.
I'm just saying, like, he needs to do World Between Worlds. Pent Patrol, just hire him to do all different timelines happen. The multiverse.
Yeah, I am curious though, because the World Between Worlds is just so tricky. Dave hasn't really defined it, so I don't really know. Like, it's everything happening at once, kind of, per se, not necessarily multiverses, but he hasn't like fully fledged it out. All I know is, like, obviously Ezra couldn't save Kanan, otherwise he would destroy himself. To some extent, it can affect past stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of predictions, though, I do have a question for you guys. Do you think Ezra's gonna make it out? I feel like he keeps saying that over and over again. He's like, I feel like I'm gonna go home. I feel like Dave in the background's like,
I want to.
yeah.
The bias in me is like, he better get home.
Yeah.
You can't just come here and not bring him back for 2 episodes. Are you kidding me? I think he's going to get home, but either Ahsoka or Sabine are not going to make it out. I'm leaning towards Sabine. Wouldn't it be like a crazy, like, swap? Like, they reunite for a little bit and then they're separated again? Be tough.
Yeah. Like, she's not going to die, though. Like, none of the rebels are going to die, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think they're bold enough to do that.
Well, not if they want to continue on with any of the stuff that they've built.
I know.
I mean, Dave's not going to let. I don't think Dave's going to let any of them go. I wouldn't let any of them go.
Yeah.
I want to see Sabine get back to Mandalore. I want to see Ahsoka do something else.
Speaking of Mandalore, with the mention in the last episode, I feel like for a finale for something like this, that's definitely going to be setting up a lot. I think a lot's going to be accomplished, though. like there is the opportunity to pull from a lot of different scenes, though. Is there a potential for a Mandalore scene, since this is after Mando season 3, to cut to Bo-Katan leading the Mandalorians, and just how that might tie in? Captain Pelion, we have him discussing a Mandalorian season 3, episode 7. Mentioning Thrawn, which now that kind of confused me. How is he able to know what Thrawn was up to if the Night Sister Morgan Elsbeth was only able to like feel where he was? So I'm a little bit confused, like how he kind of knew what was going on with that. Anyhow, will Thrawn get out, and would Pelion already kind of get involved? I don't know what that would have to do with the Imperial remnants on Mandalore, but could we see just a variety of more scenes besides this new galaxy in this finale is what I'm getting at, like Mandalore or just in general, Coruscant, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that would be cool. If they tied it all together here at the end to lead us into, the Heir to the Empire movie. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I really like this next episode. I'm like blanking. Like I'm flatlining on everything. I have no idea. But I do have a shitty joke for you, because if they were going to add the Mandalorian, then the last 2 episodes would have been Mandalorian. Sorry.
Oh, too good.
We're all weak, people.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
But no, I don't like, back to what you guys were saying about like someone dying. Like I don't think they're bold enough to kill somebody, but like at the same time, I don't want to say that and then someone die.
Yeah. My desk's made out of wood.
It'd be really bold. Like
It would be huge. It would
It'd be
be really impactful.
It would.
I mean, Ahsoka basically at this point is unable to die, right? Like somebody's just going to pull her through the world between worlds again, or whatever. I'm with that, because that's, as long as Dave Filoni walks this earth, Ahsoka will also walk in the Star Wars universe. I'm saying,
Dave, and then next to him is the grave for Ahsoka.
yeah, which is why I'm so happy with the way that they've handled things. And while Hayden Christensen's young enough and wants to be involved, like use him as much as you possibly can, because that just brings so much together in this universe.
Oh, that scene. That's another that was a close second for me as far as favorite scenes. Just because, like, based on what Ahsoka says when we get this hologram of Anakin, like he had 20 of those she had 20 of those recordings of him, or he recorded 20 recordings for her. Anyhow, but it doesn't seem like she watched them until this interaction between Anakin, most recently, that's kind of completed this relationship. So she didn't, after finding out she was, or what I'm getting at is after she found out that Anakin was Vader in Rebels, she probably, that obviously messed her up. But those recordings, she probably won't be watching them. Like, my master, it was all a lie. Like, why would I listen to the one that turned from all this? But maybe it came full circle now, and she even says didn't she say my master was great or something like that, or like it was a good master?
Yeah, that was amazing. That was character growth right there. I love seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Heartwarming. That I could almost shed a tear there. Honest.
Yeah,
thinking about it more.
That's like peak Anakin for me. Like that. This season of Ahsoka is almost. You have Hayden Christensen doing the super likable Clone Wars version of Anakin. You know what I mean? He's like able to have fun with it.
Yeah,
it brings that like knowledge of the character, acting it out. I've loved that. That's a great point.
This is why this show is like 10 to 10.
Yeah, calm down.
Easily. And just
I'm with you. Hold.
peak Luke in season finale Mando season 2. We got peak Anakin.
Yeah.
We got Nightfall Anakin too. That's what I wanted from the Revenge of the Sith video game alternate ending. I was so obsessed with that scene. He gets a red lightsaber after defeating Obi-Wan, and to see that like actually in it, the greatest what if. And I really like that episode and just that scene. I mean, who doesn't? But more so from just how many different ways you could interpret that interaction and the lessons learned. Like from one hand, it's simple in that, the lesson is don't fall into the dark or whatever. But there's more lessons in that whole sequence beyond just that. To keep fighting, but not literally, but figuratively. Just a lot of things she learned from that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was so much up for interpretation there. You could study it, multiple different ways and get something different from it multiple times, like people have online.
Well, yeah, she chose to live. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe before then she was really like, it's nobody needs, I'm not doing that much. I'm not helping anybody. I'm down in my own thoughts,
Right.
And she was really struggling. And then now she chose to live, said his right to Anakin. And then she's changed, and here she is helping all these other people live across the galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank goodness Gil didn't eat it either.
Oh man.
I mean, the Purgil that she was writing, and we thought
this would be a 1 out of 10 if Gil died. Gil.
Man, this mind on is so.
That part was really funny though. When Huyang's, at least the Purgils are taking most of the blasts, and they just book it and shimmy out of there.
Like, they knew what was going on. We're out of here.
I was so worried they were going to kill one of the Purgle. I was more concerned about the Purgle than Ahsoka. I was like, she's got plot armor. She's fine. Don't kill the whales.
Yes, exactly.
That's actually a pro and a con, though. That we are feeling more for the Purgles than we are for Ahsoka.
Oh God.
I'll just.
No, it's fair. It's fair. I guess I just wasn't feeling that way, but
so good because we saw Ahsoka die like just barely an episode and a half ago. She fell off a cliff.
She didn't die.
Well, we saw her die. We thought she might have been dead.
Yeah, that's up for interpretation. Did she die or did she die? What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah.
If I saw one of those, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's beyond me. I don't know either.
She fell off a cliff, landed in the water, and floated back up. We know that. She floated back up.
Stay on target. And chat says, "Stay safe, Gil."
Yes.
Protect Gil.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say here? I was thinking we get into like true predictions now, or like we can do it like what do we think's gonna happen. I think Thrawn's gonna get we're gonna have some epic fight to some extent between the rebels and Thrawn. Thrawn's gonna emerge victorious. To some extent, he'll get to the new galaxy. I think the Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, all them, they're gonna be a bit down. Like, oh, we failed. Like Thrawn made it back. Sabine would be like, what have I done? And looking at all that. But I think how it will actually end, and I think I may have shared this with some people. I haven't shared this online yet, but I think that Thrawn will win the day and all that. But I think Anakin Skywalker, Force Ghost, will come to just one more time for Ahsoka. Just basically hype him up, we kind of already got that line that I was talking about in this last episode from the hologram. In this war you'll get more than that. But what if he came back, truly in the flesh, present time, just one more bit of advice for the war to come, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Pent, because I feel like we keep jumping on it. You go ahead, man.
Oh no, you guys are good. I'm taking it all in. I don't know, man. I'll let you guys go, and I'll see if I can come up with something.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's setting up because there's a lot to tie up. If you're gonna tie all this up, Thrawn's gonna get a victory because he lost in Rebels, at the very end, pretty much. So he needs a victory. He's gonna get his victory and show up and have his day.
Yeah.
And however the heroes have to do what they do to get back, they all need to be there so they can continue in whatever this film and season 2 and Mandalorian, they're really setting up the future of the Star Wars creative universe with this.
Yeah, they're moving it forward.
Yeah, with Thrawn
What
being
about-
the big bad.
What about Hayden though? You want Hayden to show up?
I would love to see Hayden show. It would bookend it very nicely.
Yeah, I agree. He's been kind of a through line in this show with Ahsoka, you know, and it would what an impact that would be to see a Force ghost, an actual like Force ghost situation happening where he's like able to speak to her in this situation, like not just in this world between worlds, like this real time. This is actually happening. And give some advice or whatever just to help with that final push. I think it would be cool.
I thought of something to add to my reasoning, but Star Wars ultimately, though, for me, has always been about hope, being hopeful and, looking up. So although Thrawn will end with a victory here, I feel like it's a good path for them as the, creators. If you think of, most shows, they end on a happy note to some extent. That could serve as that kind of bridge, like, Thrawn's ready to get to work, but it's not all bad because they have each other and they're gonna work to rid this evil.
Yes, because united they can do. They've been fractured ever since Rebels. Without Ezra and Zeb's doing his thing and so on and so forth. So now that you're right, they're reunited.
I don't think they'd do it, but it'd be sweet if we got a Kanan Force Ghost or like Wolf Talk situation with Ezra. That I don't know if it would happen in this, but like further on down the line or something.
Yeah, I very much so think we're gonna get an Empire Strikes Back style ending, where it's gonna be a dark side ending. So like I do think that there's gonna be like obviously that message of hope, but like it's a dark ending. Like I don't see them winning. I was really hopeful to see like a Hera and Ezra reunion, like that would mean the world to me, but I don't think we're gonna get that. I think we could get a scene like we did. Remember the end of Andor where it like showed the Death Star, and that was like the end scene. You're like, he was building the thing that destroyed him. Like,
so glad you brought.
Maybe we get something similar to that. Maybe Thrawn talks to Palpatine. I mean, they made the reference to Necromancer and Mando 3, so maybe something like that from Thrawn's perspective, or just even talking to the Shadow Council again. Which I mean, I always love seeing Ian McDiarmid anyways, so that would be cool. Or even Snoke. But on the light side, I would like, I don't know. Like if they kill off one of the characters, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be like Anakin's be showing up like, hey guys, and then like, one of them's dead. So yeah. I'm stressing.
Oh, I was late.
I will say if Ezra dies in this next episode, I will take back what I said. I will rescind my Ahsoka being the top live action. So I will rescind that.
6 7 will happen.
The only hope would be like a world between worlds. Something.
Yeah, Ahsoka finds a world between worlds and pulls him out. Full circle.
She's like, we're even now, Ezra.
There's your Kanan cameo. If they kill off Ezra, he sees Kanan in the world between worlds, that would fuck me up. I'm not gonna lie, that would fuck me up.
And you'd be struggling there. That'd be
oh man, that would be emotional weight. There would like double. Your boy Ezra would be dead, and then now he's seeing Kanan in like the flippin' afterlife. What? Yeah. Oh man.
One thing, chat, if you guys can fill out the Q&A, so if you want us to read your prediction or just a question you have, just make sure to click on the blue box in the chat, just the Q&A button. Let us know your predictions by filling this out. Type out if you guys have any questions for us, or just what is your prediction, because I want to hear what you guys have to say for that. I think we all kind of do different perspectives and all that, but I guess Dan, Dustin, Anthony, anyone else have like predictions, or have they gone? I guess I'm not like what are our general predictions?
There's only one other thing that keeps playing in my head that I feel like they have to get to potentially is, which is kind of weird to me. The whole scene with Ahsoka the White showing up to Ezra, or not Ezra, sorry, Sabine, to find Ezra. You know how she had the staff, and it was definitely more Ahsoka the White. We haven't seen that yet, and that's just been plaguing the back of my mind because, like, Dave Filoni knows that it was Ahsoka the Gray that did that in this show. Are we going to see that scene? And is that why potentially, you know, Ezra's not going to come back because it's going to be a do-over? It's going to be like, all right, for real, we're going to get him this time. And the other reason I say that is because with a lot of the interviews I watched with Dave Filoni, he was talking about how expensive it would be to find Ezra in one of his interviews. And I was kind of like, whoa, what? It took me. Yeah, I was like, why is it going to be expensive? We already got them. They're coming out in this show. You know, and reading into it the wrong way, but with all these pieces coming together, it's kind of like, what are we doing here, man? What's going on? So I think Ezra's not making it back. I think they're going to redo that scene at the end of this, basically, which would be kind of weird, but I could see him doing it, and that would lead us to another season or something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
That would be intense. That would be trippy.
Yeah, I think you talked about it a little bit, but I would be like, Dave, like, oh, you are a mastermind. Like that would be absolutely crazy if they did that. What if the good guys actually like lost really badly here, so badly that it's only Ezra left, and he had to like somehow go into the world between worlds to like do a reset, and it means him having to like go back 10 years at the start of him entering the new galaxy, wait the 10 years again for them to redo it somehow. I don't know. I just thought of a like, more of a time travel-esque thing, like a redo, like you can.
Yeah. That sounds like a perfect Pen Patrol video right there.
I have agreed with that Empire Strikes Back feel.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like maybe the first 3 episodes would be like like episode 4, and then the middle 3 would be the Empire Strikes Back. But I feel like the entire series has been an Empire Strikes Back kind of a feel. A lot of heaviness. And I think you're right. I think it is going to end, for the Empire getting a new foothold in the galaxy, and our heroes having to do something moving forward together.
Right.
I love that take. What that means? Does somebody lose an arm or a hand?
I hope so.
Does somebody find out that somebody's their dad? I don't know, but if
one of the turtles.
we're following this. I am your father.
Wow.
I don't know.
I got a question for you guys. So we've seen Anakin come back from the dark side. We've seen Reva come back from the dark side. And we've seen Ben come back from the dark side. Do we see Shin come back from the dark side? Yes or no?
I think yes, but I don't think it's gonna be in this episode. I feel like it could be, but I think yes. But I think like whatever the next thing is, like if the movie is after this, or there's like another season, or somehow Mando season 4 relates this, I think yes, but not this next episode.
Like in a totally different series, you think, or in the movie?
Yeah, next series movie.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like they were playing it that way, for the fact that Ahsoka even offered that, and it wasn't just like a straight like duel to the death. There's definitely a lot of conflict there, and she just seems lost more than anything. Shin, I mean, she's definitely
especially after Balin. She's on her own now. Right.
Yeah, that was weird, but understandable, but still kind of like, what? Wait, what?
Abandoning me now? Now you brought me to the galaxy. I just followed along, and now you're gonna leave me up. No, I mean, she's got ambition. I think she's got to come into her own, right?
Yeah.
And then once she realizes she's really gone really far, done some damage, that's when she can start to be redeemed, right? Like all the rest of them, to this point. But she's just been following orders. Now she's going to take it on herself. What does she want to do? Gonna kill younglings, or is she gonna do terrible things that she feels regret or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did think it was interesting that she already got offered the chance to come with the good people. I didn't
Yeah.
that already.
Right.
I really like that from Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then her basically saying like, let her go, kind of
Right.
like let her figure out. But speaking of Shin and Balin, and also been seeing this discussion in the chat, I think it was a prediction stream without saying like, who do we think just overall who could die? Is anyone gonna die that's important per se? Well, we could go off names, but I think the thing to address is what's going to end up happening with the Balin Skull character in this next episode with the unfortunate passing of Ray Stevenson. I think one thing that couldn't be said just about from anybody watching the show, that Ray Stevenson has put up Emmy level performance, like a performance for the book, one that will always be remembered. But with that, what will end up happening with Balin Skull?
Oh man, I'm not sure. I've been trying to figure him out like this whole series, and like they just throwing out like teases, but not enough for me to feel concrete about predicting anything. But if we look at the context of his unfortunate passing, I almost feel like I can't even say it with confidence. Like he might eat it. Out of everybody, I feel like he'd probably be the most likely, or Morgan Elsbeth. I don't know why. I just have those two in mind. I just feel like
Morgan Elsbeth popped in my mind when I was thinking the question. She could be someone that could die.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're teasing up so much with him that it's like, maybe if they gave us something more in this episode, I would have felt more confident. But at this point, I'm just kind of like,
I mean, I was almost, I don't know where you guys were at, but I guess I just answered or asked this. You Dan or Anthony, do you guys have any thoughts on that before I get too deep?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to die. I think he's going to walk into the sunset. Well, he's not going to die at his hand. He told her that in the last episode. You're not going to kill me.
Right.
So who's going to kill him? Unless he just gets left behind. And I think that's likely thing to happen. He just gets left behind. He's on his mission to find what it was that's calling to him. We'll never know.
Like he just wants to be in that galaxy.
Yeah, there's something there that calls him, and maybe they were going to answer that, but I think they may have either tweaked the edit where we don't find out, setting up a new thing. I just let him go on his own.
That would almost be respect for him in some ways, that he lives on in Star Wars, just in a totally different galaxy.
Yep, and that's a perfect way to leave him off in his legacy, and I think he should get a posthumous award for his performance.
Yeah.
I agree with what you guys are saying, honestly, because like there's this X factor that's just been looming there the entire time for Balin. Like he's looking for something. Obviously, we heard him say that he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to end the cycle of the Jedi rise and Empire rise, the Jedi fall, that whole cycle that we've seen throughout Star Wars." As he's trying to reset that, but if there's no one out there, or if I mean, they could recast him, and I don't know if that's necessarily right or not, because we've seen that with Han in the Solo movie. But like, if they don't change the edit, which they've had plenty of time to change if they wanted to, would they recast the character, or would they just let it be a mystery that lives on forever until animation or something else, like a book or a comic? So that X factor is something that like that's one of the things that's just been plaguing my mind for weeks, is like, what the hell is he looking for? Because it could be a number of things. I mean, like going to a new galaxy, the first thing anyone thought was using Vong, and then you could think of Abeloth or the sun. Like it could be so much,
Yeah. And if they do something, I'm gonna feel slightly cheated. I mean, I'll understand, like you said, but I'm like, what has this been? This all been a
Quick intermission. KG in the chat says, wait, I stepped away for a few minutes and we lost a like. What's up with that, guys? Make sure to drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. Also, maybe potentially consider subbing. It's up to you. And In the description, we got links to both Stay on Target and Pet Patrol Star Wars, so make sure to go check them out. Him with the subscribe. As far as Balin, absolute interesting character. In this last episode, and just not just the last episode, but what it was, there were so many things going on. For a second, I was like, when I didn't realize he was gonna fight Ahsoka again, I'm like, is this it? Like they just recorded this in case, and he's just gonna die here? Like what's gonna happen? Like is this how they're gonna deal with that? Is that why we don't get much? Like they don't necessarily address that. Obviously, they wouldn't want to spoil the show, but yeah, just talking about there's something more to that cycle of the Empire and the good, the bad, rise and fall. It does remind me of more like a philosophical. He's just got the bigger picture of mind, and it's just so interesting of what is he searching for, like you're saying, that could either give him the power to reset the galaxy, or for him to just, I guess, find inner peace within the Force. Like, is this new galaxy? That's something I'm interested. Obviously, something about this new galaxy, Force-wise, or something that is causing Thrawn. He wants out of this place, and but Balin wants in. So maybe to Force-attuned users, they just have a bigger draw in this galaxy. I certainly would like to know more about this before we leave. So I actually wouldn't mind from somebody getting left behind that we visit back on, because I want this new galaxy to have a purpose moving forward to some extent. I don't want to just get introduced, kind of what we were saying. Like, I want the setting of this new galaxy defined. That's something important to me. But how is this new galaxy going to impact future stories after Thrawn probably gets out and most of the good guys get back too?
Yeah, no, great point. Yeah, and that's, I want to see more of this new galaxy. You gave us an entirely new galaxy. Give me way more. Like, I want to know what empires are here. What factions live here. Who's in charge? What's not in charge? Is it just the wild, wild west, or I don't know. I just want to know more. Yeah, they opened up a Pandora's box in some ways.
Yeah, we got turtle people on one planet. I mean, there's a big galaxy on that map that was pulled up. I wouldn't mind somebody having to being almost forced to explore if they get left behind.
Up, like you're saying, the adventures of Balin's skull through the galaxy.
And somebody in the chat was mentioning, what if like they did do that? Balin rides off into the sunset, well, in search of this greater power. But what if an animated show, using like AI technology, recreate his voice or whatever in an animated version, he does that, or recast. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah.
His performance is so good, it's hard to even say something like that. I'd almost rather it be left ambiguous and up for us.
Yeah.
What's up, Ruby?
Sorry.
Oh,
she woke up from her nap.
You're good, man.
What do you guys think? Would you want an animated, or would you want Balin recast to continue its story if it's relevant to what's going on?
That's a tough one. I'm okay with animated if Filoni's doing it. But now that he's doing live action, I don't know how much he's going to jump back into animated other than like Tales of the Jedi.
Right.
Because now
we could see in Tales of the Jedi. You reckon?
Yeah. Tales of the Dark Jedi.
Yeah.
Maybe Tales of the Boken.
Tales of the Boken Jedi now.
Yeah.
Tales of the Fallen Jedi.
Yeah.
The thing about that would be cool, because that whole scene or that whole episode. But the thing that would be cool about him, and I feel like I'm getting with him, is he even equated himself to a knight, a particular knight in Arthurian legend.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his quest is the quest of the Holy Grail. The more I think about it, he's kind of like Sir Galahad, pure, who is looking for the quest of the Holy Grail of maybe eternal life. Not eternal life. That's the sense I'm getting more and more, even watching his interviews again. And I hope they give us what that is, or are they going to leave us off on he's still looking for that? But at least give us what that, if is it a Holy Grail, or is it the world between worlds, one to control things or can control time, aspect. That would be cool in an animated show, I think. But if it applies to the live action, like with the movie that's coming out, like if he's a big player in that movie and they have to totally rework everything, I hate to say it, but I'd say, probably recast, keep that structure, that story, there. I mean, do it the most honorable way possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. I think that's one of the bigger things that is being talked about in the fandom right now is like, aside from off-kilter comments, like the biggest thing is like, do we recast the original cast or do we do what we did in Book of Boba Fett? Like, because I for one, I loved Alden Ehrenreich's performance as Solo in that movie. Like that was Han Solo to me. So like I loved his performance and I think he would do a great Han. But like I see some points that people come up as like it'd be weird to do a recast after the original trilogy and between the sequel trilogy because you'd have original new character or new actor and then original. But we saw that with Mon Mothma between Andor, Return of the Jedi, and here. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the recast or, in that same direction with Balin and so on?
Yeah, it's so tricky. I think because the current state of AI and the current strikes and all that stuff, like CG animated AI stuff is intense right now.
Right.
So I'm maybe more in the line of like a recast would work better, like Alden Ehrenreich. If he just came back and played Han, we've seen him already.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about like Luke, the actor that for season 2 looks like, I forget who he was, that like they had him for the CGI stuff, other stuff, but he looked very close to Mark Hamill as is. Would it just make sense at this point to recast? Like there wasn't Leia in this, and that could have been they're saving her or whatever, but it could be they're deciding that kind of thing right now. Are they gonna recast Leia or go full AI? The strike's going on, but that's still definitely a discussion of to use digital versus not. I gotta say though, with having Hayden Christensen, that combination of CG and makeup looks perfect. So they have options. I'm curious. I feel like that's tough.
Sorry.
What were you saying?
I was just gonna say I'm definitely in the same boat with you guys. I think recasting is the way to go in this situation. Just because CGI, like totally CGIing a whole movie's worth if they're doing movies again.
Yeah.
I just feel like that financially is going to be such a toll if they're main characters. I feel like we're not going to as main characters without them being cast. I thought Alden did a fantastic job. You got him. You got Sebastian Stan, looks pretty similar to Mark Hamill, but I don't know if he can pull off the hopeful aspect of it. You got his daughter right there. You got Lando already, back in. So I mean, you almost are.
Lando's perfect.
Yeah, you have it right there.
I'm kind of a biased, big Childish Gambino fan. Donald Glover, but
like him.
Yeah.
You got the rhymes.
50?
Are we 2005? No, what?
We're gonna get our rhymes. Do we get the 50?
Oh, we're technically over halfway. I tried to put a number out that was not like reachable, at least in like while we were live. It's like at 47, and I just peace out or something like that. But if it gets to 50 likes, I guess I will drop a verse on stream, full freestyle. I'll put on a Star Wars lo-fi beat or something. I will embarrass myself just for the class here. Make sure to fill out the Q&A. We're gonna be getting into that soon here. I do want to before I forget stuff. I will say we can move on from the Balin discussion, but yeah, it doesn't. Sounds like we're in agreement though that probably isn't gonna die because there's so much going on with that story, that greater thing. But the question is recast or not. I am fine with recast, but I feel like finding somebody of his stature and similar looks and the voice might be one of the challenging things. Like I suppose you don't have to make it all the same, but it's tough. Like it would rub me a little wrong if it wasn't like pretty close. Just because it was so good. But yeah, a couple questions before I forget them. Are we going to see Zeb in the finale? Will we see the return of Ghost Crew? Where are we going to get Zeb somewhere in there? I mean, where's he at? What's he doing? I mean, don't give me this. He's out here doing stuff. Like, Hera would have messaged him on this, like, to some extent. Like, got to see him.
For me, we should see him.
Yeah.
I want that Zeb Ezra reunion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Zeb should have been with
Buddies.
Hera.
They bunked together. They bunked together. How's he not helping out with this?
I'm saying, like he should have been with Hera and Chop every scene that they were there. In my opinion, I know they're all important now, but you know, obviously he wouldn't have made the jump to the new galaxy because Hera and Chop didn't go either. But you know, it would have made my heart happy. But that reunion needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, and if we go at the end of this season losing, I mean, back together, and like they did in the past. I mean, they were the ones who took them on in the past and won. They were the only ones that took them on and won. So wouldn't you want that same group of people together again? So
they should have more resources now. Like the being leaders, and they actually have like, I mean, the New Republic's, you know, kind of in control. They don't seem very competent, but they have more resources.
Spoils of war, right? They should have money.
Right. Then they name drop Zeb, so that was another big hint that I feel like maybe he will show up.
What do you think, Anthony? Zeb or no Zeb?
I mean, if they can have that reunion, definitely. Like, if there's Zeb, like the whole purpose of him showing up in the last season of Mandalorian, like you just don't throw Zeb in there for no reason. Like that was a great model, by the way. That model was like perfect. Like, blew me away. So like live action Zeb is a go. Like, go all in. But like, if there's no reunion, then I don't see it happening. But if there's a reunion, then I definitely has to happen. I don't know if we see Callus, but that I don't care about him as much as Zeb, and as you said, the Ezra reunion. Like, I think as long as there's a reunion, he has to be there.
That would make amazing, like, final shot.
Oh yeah,
all of them together, basically like the picture on the mural.
Yes.
Without, you know, Kanan, unless he force ghosts in.
I'm here.
And and Ezra doesn't even know about Jason. Like, Sabine just decided not to tell him that Hera had a kid for some reason. So like,
great, and that it's Kanan's. Yeah, that connection too. Like, we want. I mean, I think we all want. Well, I don't know. Speaking for people, but I want Ezra to train Jason. I mean, that cycle. Oh, so fun.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I missed that.
I totally.
That's what we got.
Pente. Bringing Ezra up to speed.
Because somebody more than Sabine, please fill Ezra in with me.
I could
Yang. Yang will fill him in.
Be perfect. I could see her not giving things to him if they were like in the thick of the fight all the time. Like if they're like down to the wire trying to get off this planet and it's not as important for him to know what's happening in the new galaxy. But if you're sitting there on a chariot just like talking about what's happened, wouldn't you bring that up? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, yeah. Great point, man.
I mean, the only reason I could see it not being brought up is because she wants to surprise him, but like that's kind of a sick surprise. Like that's like Mandalorian dry humor right there or something, because that's like fucked up. Like, oh, by the way, you know your master, he has a kid. Congratulations.
That's what I'm saying. She doesn't think, like, what about the turtle people? Like, you know, she would get them killed, but like, what if Ezra dies without like,
right?
What if he were to die or something like that? You know, like leave him at peace. Like, come on, Sabine, what's going on here? Well, I want to see some of these Q&As from the chat. So this is your chance. You can fill it out as we go through it, but we're just gonna go through it down the line. I'll read it out, and we'll discuss for a little bit each one, and then we can kind of go from there. And obviously, if you guys have anything, we'll start from the top. I hate how YouTube does this. I can't even read the name of the first person. I gotta like copy it, put it in a tab.
Mm-hmm.
Messed up. Pimp Daddy Bane, what do you think is the greater power that Balin is after? Okay. I think we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I think it's just like it could almost be like, I don't know if the wills are the wills like multi-galactic, or could it potentially be the wills of this galaxy, and maybe they're more dark side, and that's why we have the Night Sister. Throwing it out there.
That's a totally different point I didn't think you were going to go into, and it totally caught me off guard. But that could technically, yes, that could happen. That would be crazy. If he introduced that, I'd be like, yes, thank you. That.
Forget to, and also they did add on. Do you think Ezra already knows what this power is?
Sure, haven't played it that way.
Ezra seems kind of chilling. He seems to. I don't know. What do you think, Anthony?
Every night.
Whoa! Wow.
He's cool, man.
Hey, Purgle soup.
No, we don't. We don't mess with the Purgle.
We don't mess with it.
It's seafood every night.
Oh man, I don't think he does. To answer that question, I don't think he does. Like Ken was saying too. It just doesn't seem like it. Unless that's what they're gonna reveal in the last episode. But they haven't hinted at it at all anyway. So
yeah, I mean, unless it's like an animal, I doubt that Ezra has any connection with it, because his big thing is connection with animals. So like, unless it's like a big, super big wolf, then I don't think he really cares that much, or just knows at all. But something to note on top of that, the night mothers, like, they seem like freaked out. Like there's like something going on, and they seem like they just want to get out of town. I might be misinterpreting that, but like they just seem really eager to get away, maybe back to Dathomir. But like, I just came up with something. They might have something to go with Necromancer. I know Palpatine and Mother Talzin never got along. Like they were not best buds, but there could be something there. Spitballing, obviously, but like there could be something there as a connection. But
was this Necromancer like Lord of the Rings, like Sauron, or
yeah, basically. The Palpatine thing.
Yeah, some think he's dead. Type of deal. Somehow Palpatine type situation.
Yeah, like maybe
like a different version of him.
Maybe.
I was well, somebody was talking about the animals. I forget, but was that you, Dustin, or
Penn? That was talking about.
Penn, yeah, talking about the animals calling to maybe think not necessarily an animal, but like a greater being. Remember Kanan and the Bendu?
Yeah,
like it was kind of what he's describing is kind of some kind of like calling like this. So maybe it could be something alive. It could be a rock, as we know from the High Republic books I haven't read, but I do remember. I believe there is a boulder that is force sensitive or something like that. I could be misinterpreting it, but
I love the memes, the SpongeBob memes that were tied in.
It's not just
the boulder. It's a rock.
Yeah, good question though. Icy Stormy, I don't really have any predictions, but the fact that Rick Famuyiwa is directing the finale gives me hope. Yeah, that's a good point. Icy Stormy's a mod in chat, by the way. Appreciate that. But yeah, I believe Rick has done some big episodes in the past for Mando. I don't know his full episode list, but definitely a finale type guy.
And for sure, suspense, man. Like he does suspense really well, and I definitely enjoyed I think every episode he did was one of my favorite episodes in all other seasons he's worked on. So
yes,
that definitely has me hyped for the last episode.
He has a feel of a way that he does his episodes and his shot making and cinematic, Yeah,
and hopefully keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like I want to be on the edge of my seat the entire time. Be like, what is gonna happen? Like I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yep. Try to do action too, so that'd be cool.
Sorry, I don't mean to go back to that last question, but there seems like if there are going to be like a big thing that he's looking for. Like, what do you guys think's most probable? Abeloth, the Bendu, or Zepho? That I probably saw that prediction. I forget the name of the prophet or whatever that guy was. He was like a Zepho user. Do you think it'd be or? But
I'll go with Zepho, but I feel like because I thought about this, forgot, but I do want to say I feel like the danger could potentially be the Grisks just based off the canon book, like why they want to get out of there. I feel like Thrawn would mention that though, so it makes me a little bit. But the Grisks / canon Yuzong Vong, some like basically like that. Maybe they're from this galaxy too, or something like that. Because I feel like they do got to reveal more about this galaxy anyhow. What do you think? Next question is, what do you think? What do you think? Is there a chance of Shin joining Ahsoka in the end? I think we touched on this a bit. I think she could join, but I don't think it'll be in this next episode because I think Shin's got a little more development on the dark side. She'll be a bit. She could end up being like work up to be Thrawn's enforcer for a bit, but then she realized, what's the point? Something like that, but.
Like a Mara Jade potentially.
I remember you mentioned that. So Mara Jade, I haven't read the full original for this, but she was a bad guy at first that turns, then gets with Luke, right, or something like that.
There's a long history there that they go into with her and the Emperor and stuff like that. So they'd have to play it a little differently here, I feel like, but still, I could see that with how they even teased that. Not happening in this season, in the show, but in the movie potentially.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at the Q&As, and a lot of people are interested about Balin and this power because it is interesting. But they follow up and they say some like the options it could be. They're saying so the Zepho, what we're saying, Abeloth, son of Mortis, Snoke. Snoke. There's a lot of different things. Palpatine says in the Rise of Skywalker, he created Snoke. Oh, right?
Yeah, Snoke's right.
I just don't feel. I don't know how that could be a connection there. I feel like there's got to be something bigger or different. Like I would think almost full new character, and it could be a Bendu like that's dark side though. There's so many things you could speculate on. But the Zepho would be cool. I'd love to see more Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor tie-ins.
Yeah, I don't think we see Snoke. He doesn't reach out to Ben until Ben's in the Jedi Order, so like 15 ABY. I think that's when he first reaches out to him. So like that's like 6-7 years. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Ben's like only 3 or 4 right now, so probably not Snoke.
In the Q&A, someone's asking us to rate every episode of Ahsoka from worst to best. With 4 of us doing that would definitely take a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll give you what we can each give our best and our worst episode. I think that'll be easier. It's tough. It's definitely a tie between episode 5 and 6 for me for the best episode. Maybe episode. It's tough to say worse because I just episode 4 through 6 are pretty perfect. I'm making this hard for myself. I'll say episode 6 is my favorite though, just because of the new it brings with this new galaxy, and I think it was done really well. Dude, there's not enough to it's hard to throw an episode under the bus for me. But this last episode we watched was a bit of a step back, in my opinion, from the 10s we were getting. So I'll say 6 best, 7 worst.
That's fun.
Yes.
What about you, Pent?
Oh, I'd say my favorite would be 7. My favorite moment in the show is from 6, the Ezra and Sabine hug, but my favorite episode I think was 7. And then that's something I usually do though. Like every time a new show comes out, I'm like, oh, my favorite episode was the last one that I saw. So that's probably going to change after the next one, but I'd say probably my least one was 1, but that's because it's the furthest from the newest episode I've seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too potentially. You guys, Dan, Dustin.
Yeah, I for me it was the same with you, Bismo. 5 or 6 was my favorite. For me, I think I have to. I usually don't agree with people. I just pick something different, but I'm gonna have to say 6 was my favorite, and I think 1 still probably comes off as the lowest. For my score, ends up being 7, which makes me kind of annoyed, but because there was still a lot of good stuff in 7. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say 6 and 1.
I take it back. I can't rank the Emin Esfandi like as Ezra as the last. He's too good. I'll say 2. No, okay, you go, Dustin. It's for
Oh, nice. I like your reasoning. That's good. But me, I think either 4 or 5 are my. I like some of the fight a lot, quite a bit, and there was a lot of. There was actually some reveals. Sabine, moving things along with why Ahsoka and her are like, at odds. I wanted to even explore that even more, but I'd say 5 is probably my favorite because just getting Anakin and that whole sequence was really good. I really enjoyed seeing that. So 5 for me, best. Worst for me, yeah, it's kind of tough, but probably this last episode is my least favorite. Just I really like Iman Esfandi's portrayal of him. I'm not knocking him at all. I think it's just more the like certain aspects of the story that's going on and what they did with him. I still think he did a great.
That's a good way to describe it. Are you obsessed with Shin? Shin Bismo, make it happen. All right, next question. Sabine
He answered.
will be left behind to deal with Thrawn. Yeah, that's who I was kind of predicting. I think it might be Sabine that gets left behind. But we could have that roles reversed.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Like that would be some character growth in a lot of ways. Sabine chose to stay behind and let Ezra go off, understanding that
Take one for the team.
Yeah,
But then
It
you
would fully break her though.
yeah,
she would be.
I'm not gonna lie. Do you guys think that there might be like a time jump? Like the episode might be like 2 different parts per se. So like the first half is like what happens, and then the end is like a time jump, and we see like maybe like the last 5 minutes of the episode is what's happened since whatever happened in the episode. Do you think like that's something? Because that's something that I keep coming back to is like, is there a time jump within the episode? Because like we know earlier that if they jump through hyperspace, the mega hyperspace jump, that takes an entire episode to do. So like it'd have to be a time jump if we're gonna get a reunion, if there is one, or if we're gonna see what awaits with the end of the Empire styled ending. So do you guys think there's a time jump?
Oh man,
I'd like that idea of a time jump actually a lot.
Yeah, you just blew my mind a little bit there.
Yeah, very way forward potentially. You know what I mean? I like time. I'm just a fan of time, messing with time anyway, like Christopher Nolan or something. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess because every other show's caught up to this point, right? So, it would make sense. I mean, why not? Why not jump? If everybody's already thinking that he's gonna make it back, you might as well get into it and set up that movie like pitch perfect.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it like that, but yeah, I could see a mini jump happening. But that could lead to my kind of prediction of potentially the non-Empire, like this. I'm not necessarily saying like I do agree like the bad guys are gonna win. I'm more so saying like maybe a couple minutes scene though to give some hope and tease what's to come with the Avengers Endgame type, but Star Wars. Yeah, I like the jump perspective. Yeah, what's up?
Because that could even play Sabine coming back to the whole Ahsoka the White scene that I was talking about. If there's a time jump.
True.
That again.
Could happen. Well, I'm liking my odds here. We're at 30 likes. 20 likes is kind of a lot to ask. I don't know how much longer we'll be going, but what did you say, Dustin?
Come on, people. We gotta hear times.
Dustin with Arel. A second Dustin?
He's Dustin 2.0.
Dustin 2.0. What is the power on Peridia that Balin seeks to Thrawn Night Mothers? Okay, we've definitely covered this a bit, but all right. We've all probably said multiple different answers, but pick one right now. I'll say force sensitive rock. Dustin, what do you think?
I like the force sensitive rock. They're just a rock that's out in like a field. No, for me, I hope it's something bigger, like maybe Abeloth, or the Zepho would be interesting because at least they're tying that in. There's actually, something there. Like they actually have like the Zepho writing, the games at least tie into that more, and probably the Zepho or the.
I said Bendu because of being a Filoni, something that he's already kind of introduced or some similar creature. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe unlikely at this point, but that's what I say.
Yeah.
If
it's not like a Zepho, I think Zepho would be cool because the tie-in, because I think what they're trying to do, at least it seems like they're trying to get people to see the High Republic, because like the novels have been out for a couple of years and the comics and all that stuff. So like it would make sense to tie something into that era, or an era even before that. But if it's not that, then I hope it's like Godzilla or something, because that'd be funny.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, on that though, Jedi Survivor, they tied in High Republic stuff, and obviously Fallen Order had Zepho. Do you think we see like the live action Cal Kestis at some point in this new in these shows, or just in general? Because I would love that. I mean, you have the guy to play him, you have the girl to play Marin.
I mean, I would love to see it. I haven't played the games, but like I would love to see it. But like I think something like that takes time to build. I think we've seen that in cinema lately. Like I'm not going to shit on other franchises, but like DC and even Transformers, they didn't take the time to develop these big growth things where you have like different characters come in. So like if they were to do that, it'd have to be like a solo project, I think, like a show or a movie where they just introduce the character. Because like aside from Star Wars fans, general audiences don't know about that. And like I think Star Wars movies have like this really special vibe. Like it's like a collective experience for everybody. Like Star Wars movies is an experience that people want to go to. Like it's a Star Wars movie, and so like people want to see it. And I guess what I'm trying to get around to is like in a movie sense, like you have to have something for general audience members to kind of get into without having to be like, oh, I have to go play 2 video games to understand this character, or I have to go watch 4 seasons of a show to understand this character. So like that's like my only concern with adding someone like him in, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. I get it. I'm sorry, normies, but I don't care enough. No, but like give me. No.
But writing done well, you should be able to like fill you in enough to understand and emotionally attach to these characters quickly without having that backstory. That backstory is just like filler later. Like you find out, like I really like this character, man, it's so cool. And then you get to the like, is there anything more about them? And then you find out there's 4 seasons of a show. What?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go do that too.
But yeah, but movies, just standalone movies on their own, like Star Wars aside, like they have to accomplish that. They have to, traditionally movies, hour 30 minutes, introduce you to a character, introduce you to a villain, and in that time you've got to like, how do they make you care about what's going on, right? So it could be done, and then like you said, then maybe like, oh, there's games on them or seasons.
The trap is falling into everybody knows who this character is. We don't need to explain or bring people up to speed. I think that's a trap that you fall into, and then you don't get that general audience to get as hooked on the material. So to Penn's point, really.
Yeah,
Give me the meat.
I think that's what happened with Solo. Like, I think that like right there is exactly what happened with Solo. Like that movie just like no one really cared enough to see it, you know?
I think there was a lot of things that played into why Solo didn't do well, but
Oh yeah.
probably, yeah, that's probably an aspect.
It's yeah, I mean, definitely a combo of things, but I could see that though too, especially like if it's not, you know, that not no discredit to the actor Alden, because he played him well, and I do like that movie, but yeah, I mean, if they announce a Solo movie and it's, you know, you don't see Harrison Ford's face, that's not gonna, yeah, I can't say that would help like a normie anyhow. Like, why would, like, you know, I necessarily somebody that doesn't, that barely or just watches the numbered movies, how are they gonna watch a movie like that, I guess? But yeah, let's move on here. Sonia says, how would Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, react seeing his biological daughter, Princess Leia? I would love to see that. How would he react? I mean, I'm gonna assume Force Ghost, like looking on, and I bet I think she's there, or I think he's there, you know, with her and Luke, kind of like always with them. Just not, they can't always see that though. Like I think Anakin's always there watching over Leia at this point. But I would love to see that explored on screen, of like Force Ghost interaction with Vader / Anakin with Leia.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Like, be cool to see some closure, maybe in some ways, or Anakin, Anakin being a Force ghost, or the father that he never was to her. Like that would be a cool. That'd be a really cool aspect of it. It would be very special. It'd be some closure. There'd also be him, you know, giving some wisdom.
And Luke, right?
Yeah, both.
Like, are they talking all the time? Are Anakin and Luke like just chilling?
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
They be if he's talking to Ahsoka. I don't think he's going to talk to Luke, the person that redeemed him,
And Obi-Wan.
and Obi-Wan.
You know.
We know that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. All good questions.
in between, I want Anakin to meet Ezra via Force Ghost call. He's like, remember when I was fighting you and you were like a little kid and I was Vader, and
I didn't, you know, I had some bad influence at the time. I just want to say, like,
sorry about the scariness.
It wasn't my true self at the time, but you know, it's all good now, right?
Conversations.
I gotta say, I saw some really funny memes online, like after episode 5, when the flashback's going on, and that big the dialogue with Ahsoka and Anakin, where Ahsoka brings up like, you know, you fell or whatever to the dark side, and Anakin's like, we're not here to talk about what I did. Like, but there was such a funny meme, like I forget the movie it's from, but like she says that, and then it cuts to the meme, and the guy's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Perfect. like slaughters like an entire room of like younglings, like, oh, It is interesting though, like, but to some extent though, I do like that lesson about Star Wars. Like, obviously, like, Anakin made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of wrong, and borderline some of that stuff's unforgivable, right? But ultimately, though, the idea that someone can be redeemed and still do good, though, I do like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the core of it. You know, having hope, just always do it, no matter what. But I'll say in the Thrawn trilogy, the book, they actually discuss this topic briefly in the very beginning. Almost like a matter of time that Force ghosts can stick around. Like, it gets harder and harder for them to communicate time of their passing. So like right after long as they've been trained in how to do it. There's that aspect. Well, in the Thrawn trilogy, it just like over time, like the longer they got away from it, it was harder and harder to communicate, which got pretty much right in the beginning of that book. I kind of like that. It was interesting to me. Unless you're in the world between worlds or something like that.
You actually make a point there. It's the book Shadow of the Sith, which does a lot of world building for the Rise of Skywalker. I don't know exactly what happens. I haven't read it yet, but like Anakin saves Luke somehow, which is why Luke ends up looking for Exegol, and goes to Basana to try and find the Wayfinder, or the dagger. So like that might be like an extension of him using his power as a Force ghost, right there, and he's like saving it because just in case something comes around, he wants to use it, maybe.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. What's up, Ruby?
Fingers are chew toys now.
Oh no. Puppy stage. The Stay on Target fact checker. What's up? Says, I think Thrawn is going to win at the end of the season, but hopefully Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine being together means they'll put up a great fight. Will the season-ending fight be on the Chimera or at it? I think that would make sense. Like, it all comes down. Thrawn just bought all that time, and I saw it, like the meter tick up like 1% just in the time he was sticking there. So, you know, being a physics/math major, they've got like less than 10 minutes, but that's definitely not accurate. But definitely not much time, like probably like 5 minutes. But no, it'll probably be the full episode, and that will be the you know, they don't got much time. They got a couple hours or whatever to take them out. I think it will be on the Chimera though, or like at that as the focal point of the battle.
Chimera is gonna have to die on.
Yeah.
They can jump on out of there.
You think Thrawn's going to do some physical anything, or is he just going to be in his room?
No, he's not.
Is he okay? Is he going to have any face-to-face convos with our characters?
Oh,
is
face to face. That'd be
Ooh.
Ezra and Thrawn going to see each other face to face and be like, "Remember when we were together last?" And they're going to stare each other down.
And then he makes.
Well,
And he might make
would love like at least a one-liner or something, a little bit of like explanation/playback to that though. Like,
Yeah.
why have they been separated this whole time when they clearly left to the new galaxy together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me some backstory, man.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that in 7. A little bit of an explanation.
Yes.
we did.
What?
Wait, we did?
We did.
No, we
Just-
didn't.
I'm
It's like what?
I
Must
wish
have had a no.
back how they arrived at Peridia, or
Yeah,
how the
that's
space
what I
wheels
know.
dropped them.
Yeah.
What a mess that was for like just a couple minutes, you know, and then they go their own way because Thrawn's like Sherlock. He knows how to get out of anything, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe Ezra's like injured because he's like used so much of the Force to get there or whatever, and then like, the turtle people
Well, he was shot too, like going into it.
maybe the turtle people save him.
They give him a for
I gotta say, I do love the turtle people in this episode 7 though. Like that Ezra dynamic, when he does get yeeted, it is pretty funny when he gets up and like the turtle's like opens the door and be like get Ezra's like get in there, it's under control, like I got this, like or whatever. That was fun.
Yes.
very 11 years ago, Ezra.
But it is a good introduction though, like for the thing like this, like you're saying though, the normie, I guess, to get the little more playful side before we get into the reality that Thrawn is going to be in a new galaxy and thousands, potentially millions of people are going to die, and we'll get serious Ezra again. Rose City Jacko says, what do you think is going to be happening with Force Ghosts, and who would you like to see from the available pool of Jedi? Well, I think we've touched on this a little bit, but I don't think, for example, Kanan, I don't think Kanan can become a Force Ghost, but I'd love to hear his voice or see him as Doom Wolf. I mean, I like seeing Qui-Gon, but I don't know if we'd have any reason to see Qui-Gon. But he's technically in that line with Ahsoka. Kind of reminds me almost like, if you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, could get like an Aang perspective where he's talking to previous avatars or something like that, kind of like that. So rather than getting like Anakin, get somebody like Qui-Gon to talk with, or even like, well, this wouldn't make any sense, but it could still be fun, like a Dooku character, like a conflicted Dooku. Yeah, he's a Sith by the end of it, but he was a Jedi in a corrupt place, and he was trying to do the best, but on line with the bad guys. Who do you think we could see, I guess, as Force Ghosts?
And
What's up?
I say you take this one. The encyclopedia will let us.
Oh yeah, let me do it. I don't see anyone other than Anakin possibly. The main difference between like Anakin, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, and the other ones is the other Jedi that we hear in the Rise of Skywalker are part of. It's either they're part of the Cosmic Force or the Netherworld. I get it confused all the time, so don't take me word for word here. But I think they're in the Cosmic Force, which means like every Jedi who, like every Force sensitive person or Jedi can go to the Cosmic Force and they exist. Oh, here's the dog, by the way.
Hi, Ruby.
And so like that's how they were able to communicate with Rey, because she was trying to connect to them to the Cosmic Force, which I assume she learned from Leia. But like for Kanan to come back, it would take I would suspect it would take for Ezra to be connected to the Cosmic Force to be able to talk to him. But in terms of Force Ghosts, I think it's likely going to be Hayden or Anakin. I don't really see, like, I think it would be kind of weird if Ben just showed up and was like, "Oh, hi, by the way, nice to see you, Ahsoka." Like, just be kind of odd. And she's probably still holding a grudge against him for everything. So, wondering why he aged 35 years and 20. So,
Yeah, I knew I was going to completely agree with you, so that's why I wanted you to go first. Everything you just said.
Only other person I could think of would be like Yoda.
Yeah,
if we saw a Force Ghost.
That's a good point. With Ezra, especially because Ezra.
Yeah, they talked a couple times.
They Skype.
Yeah. That was fun. That was really fun. One of my favorite parts of Rebels. Andrew says, if Abeloth is released in episode 8, how would Luke combat this force? Or would the might be too powerful that even the Night Sisters would have to band together with our heroes to seal it away again? That's an interesting idea. Now, I'll just take that idea in general. What if like they're leaving this galaxy, and whether it's Abeloth or just in general, the Grisk, Yuuzhan, whoever, there's some kind of greater evil that would cause Thrawn, Night Sisters, or that group to team up to fight off against this greater evil that just wants to wipe out everyone anyway.
What a twist that would be. I mean, that would take it a totally different direction, but cool to see them teaming up, having to team up there at the end to like seal off this galaxy.
That's what I thought they would do maybe at some point.
Did you? Oh, okay.
I was hoping they would, but I just,
like there's a bigger threat.
Yeah.
Like Balin and stuff like that.
They all got to get out of there together. Sorry, we're friend of mine, because he says that line or whatever, that enemy of my enemy is my friend. I thought that would come back in 7, maybe, or maybe 8, but it might have just been a line that he just because he's so cool.
I think it was just more specific to those orcs that we got.
Yeah. Orcs.
I'm calling them orcs. Seem like orcs.
Yeah, they look. Ruby giving you a hard time.
Yeah, she just caught a hold of the skin between my thumb and my pointer finger and tried to rip it off. So I'm having a great time. How you guys doing?
Oh no.
But
yeah.
Last Q&A question. So we're shutting down the Q&As here, but just top 3 favorite characters of Ahsoka except Anakin. I'll start, and then I'm gonna head to the bathroom, and you guys can hang out and chat for a second. But Ezra is number 1 for me. Perfect casting. Love Ezra, and it can't be Anakin. Ezra, Balin, Hera. Those are my 3.
And then he drops the mic. Yeah, for me it's gonna
shoot.
be it's gonna be Hu Yang.
There you go.
oh,
Sorry.
Were we muted?
Yeah,
for a
we're good.
second?
No, we're good.
Oh,
I
sorry.
hit a
All right.
button. Sorry.
I'd say Hu Yang, then probably Balin, and then Thrawn. If we're going like casting a little different to me.
Okay.
I think casting wise, yeah, I think well, Balin obviously is fantastic, Hu Yang fantastic, and then I do think Ezra he's great cast. Just as
Mhm.
far as character that I've show so far,
Mhm.
those are the most intriguing to me and fun and feel interesting. So, what about
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, I actually love Amon Asfandi as Ezra, and I do get so many of the feelings that like the Ezra, and but serious. He can be serious. He's got the look. He looks grown up. He looks like the dad from the show.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah.
So he's definitely a great cast, and I'm excited that they can use him more. I hope in other projects.
Even sounds like him. Like
He does.
the voice similar. It's almost eerie.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I love that. So, everybody else is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Chopper is perfect.
Well, Chopper, yeah. It should have been Anakin and Chopper. You can't say those.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
No, I mean, Sabine is a good cast. I believe her as Sabine. I believe she is doing everything she can as Sabine to, do her interpretation of Sabine from the show.
Yeah, it's just more the story, I feel like.
And for me, I'm just joking around. Like I kind of wanted to have her helmet on some of the time.
Yeah.
Kind of that for me, like in battles and stuff, like encapsulates.
Mandalorians are cool. Like,
No.
Yeah.
And then her voice, like half the time she talked, it was like the
Modulated,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
But that's it.
I think her helmet's still on Satos. Actually, that might be why she's not wearing it.
Did he keep it,
yeah,
or did
yeah.
Ahsoka grab it?
No, I thought Hera had.
I think Hera had
I
it.
think Hera had it. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get a reunion between Sabine and her helmet.
Well, why didn't
Really though? What if she's the one left behind?
And all they have to remember her by is her helmet.
Oh my God! Actually,
Oh no, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean to say that.
Ezra wears it into battle now.
He goes back to Lothal, and now he's got all of her things in his place to remember.
Wow.
That's dark.
I could see it happening. Oh no.
there's a setup for that. Yeah, that's kind of sick.
Sick, Dan.
Why?
Gotta say, I don't like that the like counter. Okay, I do like that the like counter is going up, but it's like I said 50, and still some to go before freestyle. But I don't know if there's enough time for you guys to get me to freestyle. I think I might be making it out, but
Pence, you still gotta hear Pence, and I think that'll get us to 50. Okay.
I gotta say Ezra's my favorite. I mean, I'm a little biased here because Amon has liked a couple of my tweets, so like I'm very happy about that. So
that feeling, dude.
Wow.
Hits me right in the heartstrings. But like, no, he like they've done such a great job, and that was something I was a little like worried about because for me, Rebels is like my favorite Star Wars show. So like that's my bread and butter. So like I was really apprehensive about like if they were gonna get the characters right, and they like nailed all of them. So like I'm having the time of my life. But I think Ezra, because we've been waiting for that moment, and then like he's just him. And then I'd say after Ezra it'd be Hera, because mother, and then it's a tie, I guess. I don't know. A tie, between everybody else. I love the entire cast.
Yeah,
It's
like I
hard
wanted to
choose
say
a
Shin
favorite.
too, and I can't. I'm taking it back. Thrawn gets a spot in there.
Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna do the math to get rid of a character. Thrawn's up there too.
it's great casting. I do agree.
Mhm.
Casting is on point. There's so many things that are on point.
Well, we can hang out in the chat for a bit, but we're at the 2-hour mark. This is supposed to be an hour-long show. Obviously, different circumstances. I want to do a big one for before the finale this Tuesday. But I guess anything else, guys, you guys want to touch on before we maybe read a couple things in the chat and head out of here? I can escape this freestyle.
Keep going until we get to 50.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
I don't really have anything else. I mean, I don't want to risk going to 3 hours, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
Definitely going to be very excited to sit down, plop down, and watch that finale.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful that they have moved it to like an established 9 o'clock.
Yes.
You know, for our time.
Yeah.
Really something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, and like at that time of night, you're Pen Patrol, you're working, but like, maybe can sit down for an hour. I'm just kidding. I have no. Oh, it's a good time of night to just like sit down and chill and watch something fun.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be so hyped on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It's sick because like I'm so excited for it, but I'm dreading it because I don't want it to end. Like,
Yeah.
it's so nice having a show that you're just like like it's always nice having Star Wars content, period. But like, it's so nice that they break it up and don't just release it all because like the anticipation for each episode is so great, and it's like you just want to get there, and then you get there, and you're like, all right, and then you're not gonna have that next week. Like next week you're gonna get there, and you'll be like, now I gotta wait like 3 years, like
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, and it just gives us this opportunity to be able to get together as fans and discuss and theorize each week. Just fun to do that, and that is it's gonna be a while to the next like live action Star Wars show that would probably relate to this. I thought what was next on table was the Acolyte, but obviously with all the writer stuff, I have no idea. I know the writer's strike ended. Has the actor strike ended?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
So
I think they're just picking up where the other people left off.
I haven't followed too closely on that. To be
I feel
honest.
like I heard that maybe though with the delay, so the Acolyte could still come out. Or is it Acolyte or the other one, like next spring?
I think Andor finished film. I think both of them finished filming, didn't they? Like both Andor and Acolyte are finished, right? And
I heard Andor
think it
still's
was
got some
Skeleton.
work to do for season
Really?
2. Yeah, I heard it didn't finish. I heard they had some trouble on set.
And our season 2 might be peak Star Wars. Am I right?
It could be. I'm really excited for Andor season 2.
Well, I think that's
jokes aside.
Yeah.
I think they said there's only 2 seasons of Andor.
So that's good for Bismo, right? Last season. Never have to deal with Andor.
No, I'm pumped for this next season. I mean, you could just call the movie season 3. I mean, we know how it ends, but
yeah. True.
True. Yeah.
I mean, no, call it. It will be because that's the plan. It will lead up to that. But
somehow, game returned.
If they do that, so hard.
You could see like Leia in that. I'd love to see Leia potentially. I don't know. One more thing before we go, I do want what if we could like as each of us kind of go in a circle one more time, maybe like a sentence or two, or like how should we do this? Like last predictions. Each person kind of gives some last predictions, not too long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Last predictions. Yeah, I think like we've been saying, it's gonna end on the bad guys win. We got to set up this Heir to the Empire movie. That's kind of what I feel like is gonna happen. I'm not sure we're gonna get too many answers because they haven't really been giving us too many answers so far. And I think this series is really kind of ultimately in some ways going to be, it's the Ahsoka show. So we got what we needed for Ahsoka for that character development. I think everything after this point has been set up for the movie. So that's kind of my final predictions on what's going to happen. So, but yeah, there's a lot of variables there. So I'll leave it there.
All right. I like it. Dan?
Yeah, I think an Empire Strikes Back. Empire wins. I think a Zeb reunion would be amazing.
Yes.
As they get back to the original galaxy. And I think Balin rides off into the sunset.
Boom.
That's it.
Trifecta.
I agree with both of you guys. I can guarantee I will be yelling at the television, and there might be some tears, but that's my prediction.
That's good.
That's great. Yeah. Thrawn wins. Anakin Force Ghost, though. My prediction. Hype him up a little bit. Ezra Bean for the win. I'm back on the train.
Love it.
Yeah, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I won't have to freestyle. That's nice.
Come on, what? Come on.
What can I say? Well, thanks again. Like I said, both Pen Patrol and Stand Target, links to their channels can be found in the description. If you're watching this in the VOD, we appreciate y'all. It was a ton of fun tonight. Super excited for Tuesday. Make sure to go check them out. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And one more week of Ahsoka. Hashtag Faith and Filoni. Let's get it. Woo!
Yes. Thanks for having me on, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it really has.
And a great time.
Share it with both you, Bismo, and Pen Patrol has been amazing. Thank you.
It was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime. All right. Well, thanks again, Chad. Thanks for those hanging out. Yeah, Faith and Filoni. This